We were a working band, Dave. We were working sometimes 6 nights a week at polytechnics and universities. I mean, it was... And even people come up to me today, even at Edinburgh, you know, and say, oh, we were fans of Stone the Crows, we got the LPs, and we were a working band, and because that's what we were always used to doing, was working.
And, of course, there were various music polls at that time. I mean, I think you won Best Singer, didn't you, one year for Melody Maker?
I think I won it 5 years.
I mean, I can remember, Maggie, that classic shot of you. I'm sure it was from the poll winners' concert at Wembley, and you're in your denim outfit, aren't you, for that?
That's right, by a Scottish boy, Alan Fulliger. He made it out of an old pair of jeans.
Well,
that picture went global, didn't it? It went everywhere.
Well, it's like a defining image, isn't it? And I expect... Have you still got the outfit?
No, sorry. That went a long, long time ago.
Yes, I'm sure it would have done. So, I mean, the other thing is... you know, Stone the Crows are actually quite relevant now. In the last couple of years or so, there seems to be a trend for new bands looking back for inspiration to the early 70s, not least Led Zeppelin, of course.
Yeah.
But, you know, there are one or two what I would call blues rock bands with female vocalists.
Yeah.
Blues Pills comes to mind.
Yeah, that's from Sweden, aren't they? From Sweden.
That's right, yes.
Yeah, I read a nice interview. She mentioned my name. She said I was an inspiration
Oh,
for
well,
her.
there you go. But
you see, I love stuff like that, you see. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the music, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. But you must have a wry smile to yourself to think that you have influenced some of these younger bands, you know.
Well, considering I was never a pop chart person, do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I was stuck by my guns and just kept on working and getting better and better. And that's all I could do, really, you know. I mean, if you don't like people, you shouldn't be in this business. That's my thing. If you don't, you know, if you don't get on with people and you don't enjoy, like, audiences and stuff, at the end of the day, they're paying a lot of money these days to come and see you, and it's your, and I hate to use the word, but you have to entertain people.
Yes.
Musically and otherwise, it's very, very important.
Yes, that's right.
Nobody was giving us millions of pounds in those days just to go and make a couple of singles, and then you sit back and you do your first tour, and after the second night, your throat's gone. Do you know what I mean? You just had to go in there and do it.
I mean, that's another thing about modern music, isn't it? Again, you must be amazed, really, at the...
I'm baffled.
Baffled, I know. For those of us of a certain generation, it's hard to comprehend, isn't it, really? Yeah. So, yes, influencing other people even to this day. But, I mean, when we go back to the first two Stone the Crows albums, and we're talking, as I say, a month or so before the reissue of... the first two Stone the Crows albums via Angel Air Records. Yeah. Now, the band was really a hotbed of great musicianship. We should mention to listeners that in addition to the very talented young guitarist Les Harvey, brother of Alex, you mentioned there Colin Allen, who played with John Mayall, later joined Focus, and of course something that I overlooked a bit really when I looked at Stone the Crows, the great Jim Dewar. I mean, what a lineup. And what I hadn't appreciated, Maggie, at the time is that you actually duetted with him.
Oh, yeah.
It was a bit like Elkie Brooks and Robert Palmer in Vinegar Joe to some extent.
That's right.
Yeah.
Jimmy was a wonderful singer. And he came from Scotland with us. He came down to London, brought his family and everything, you know. It was a good time, and we wrote songs for the first time in our lives. We were amazed. And
I think people will notice this... if they're not familiar with those first two Stone the Crows albums, they weren't overproduced, were they, really? No. I mean, from what you remember, were they pretty much put down in, you know, one or two takes?
That's right.
Yeah.
And it was produced by a guy called Mark London.
Mm.
And he wrote To Serve Us Love with Don Black. So that's the Lulu connection.
Yes. And he worked closely, didn't he, with Peter Grant?
Yes, he did. Mark was a wonderful guy. He's back in Canada now.
Ah, and you still keep in touch?
Yeah, he's a wonderful guy.
Yeah.
Funniest guy I've ever met in my life. He was Stone the Crows.
Oh, right.
He was a funny guy.
So would you say he was pretty hands-off as far as the production went? He just let you get on with it, really?
Yeah, but he did a good ear, because he did back in the day. He worked as a comedian up in the Catskill Mountains in upstate New York. I mean, he'd seen it all. And he said, I always remember what he used to say, everybody should have a good beginning of a song, a middle eight, and a fantastic ending.
Yeah. And stick to that and you can't go...
Stick to that and you can't go wrong.
No,
Absolutely.
Good advice.